Allstar Junior practically tap danced on a headstone, calling his next play. P Yungin immediately stamped the receipt with the ultimate price tag, skipping the pleasantries entirely. No chaser, we are diving straight in. Allstar Junior, the exact same cat the industry labeled completely washed. The outcast everyone swore had zero backing just shattered the matrix with a single flick this week. Vibe was immaculate, wardrobe flawless, head held high with absolute zero panic. Yet, the visual was not what set the concrete on fire. The gasoline was strictly those 7 syllables typed underneath, just 7 words. That single spark pushed the entire Never Broke Again faction from silent to screaming Reaper energy in less than 48 hours. The craziest angle? Our guy returned fire without a single stutter step. Gather round, family, because we are way past keyboard warrior territory now. You are witnessing a full-grown boss, directly taunting the ghost of a crew backed by hip-hop's most notorious militant following. Then, when one of their shooters slides into the replies, dropping grim Reaper warnings, Junior drops the most freezing counterpunch of 2024, potentially 2025. Stood 10 toes down and doubled down. We are dissecting the entire puzzle today. The snapshot, the text, the audio teaser, the animated disrespect, Youngin's venomous reply, the immediate return fire, and furthermore, the absolute madness of Akademiks jumping on the microphone early on, explicitly waving red flags and telling the masses to steer clear of Junior's wave. Look, when the big media staple screams to retreat, you know genuine static is hovering in the atmosphere. Listen closely. If your boots have not touched this digital mud, I will speed run the context. We skip the encyclopedias and serve raw truth. Junior spits bars. He has held his ground in the arena for a hot minute. Maybe not wearing the heavyweight crown, but his cult following and catalog are undeniable. Crucially for today's curriculum, he carries heavy friction. Certified, undisputed smoke with affiliates operating inside the Never Broke Again syndicate. I refuse to hold you hostage with a historical deep dive on the origins of that war, since that requires its own cinematic breakdown. However, for today's venom to properly paralyze your system, here is the essential puzzle piece you need. Junior is 0% civilian. He is far from a basement dweller, throwing digital rocks from an anonymous profile. We are talking about a verified player standing out in the open, government name attached, streaming numbers visible, intentionally jabbing a sleeping monster in broad daylight. Regarding Ben 10, we are not referencing the fictional kid. I mean, technically he is animated, which serves as the ultimate punchline here. However, the specific Ben, anchoring this street war, was an actual human, heavily cemented in that Louisiana camp's ecosystem. A major player who commanded real respect over there. The pavement remembers his fate clearly, so when Junior drops a sonic teaser paired directly with the literal animated Ben 10, that fictional television kid sprinting with the alien device strapped to his forearm, that maneuver's far past accidental. Throw away the concept of coincidence. We are witnessing a brutally synchronized, high-level maneuver of absolute disrespect. Chambered, squeezed, and uploaded to the grid, completely unapologetic. Our guy literally weaponized a deceased soul into an animated mockery for pure engagement, grinning the whole time. There is your foundation. Now observe the blowback from the opposing faction, because the speedometer shattered past maximum velocity. The exact second P Yungin laid eyes on the upload. Pay close attention to this specific chain of reactions. Lock in on the clock because every single minute holds profound weight in this chess match. Off the rip, Junior unleashes the photograph. And forget your standard promotional headshot. Homeboy looked violently relaxed, wardrobe screaming wealth, projecting an aura of complete invincibility. That specific brand of imagery confirming a soul rose from the mattress and elected pure chaos. The attached text, incredibly brief. A mere 7 syllables, just 7. Yet those phrases strike like lightning once you grasp the underlying target. Draped in cryptography, but the gutters translated the message immediately. That brief text effectively functioned as a global broadcast, stating, "Zero fear exists here, my location is visible, and the war continues." The digital underworld instantly caught fire. The reply section spiraled into madness. Heavy hitters pulling each other into the fray, while loyalists from both trenches flooded the battlefield with opinions. Yet that maneuver barely scratched the surface of his weekly agenda. Shortly after, unleashing pure kerosene onto the inferno, he unveils the actual studio snippet. Listen up closely. Wrapping your mind around this visual is mandatory, as this marks the exact pivot from standard digital instigation to pure, unadulterated sociopathic behavior. Honestly, the audacity demands a salute. The cover art features the legitimate Cartoon Network protagonist, the animated youth sporting the extraterrestrial hardware, emerald coat, full sprint. Meanwhile, the audio naturally explores a theme completely mirrored by its headline. Junior engineered an entire track, a fully mastered anthem boasting heavy beats and a visual scheme entirely dedicated to violating an affiliate of the Never Broke Again empire via an adolescent animation. Family, the absolute nerve on display defies gravity. Analyze the required stamina. We are miles beyond someone dropping intoxicated tough talk at 2 in the morning inside a comment thread. We are talking ice-cold premeditation, booked engineering hours, a fleshed-out artistic vision, an entire promotional campaign. Junior literally took a seat, mapped out the ultimate violation, structured the blueprint, laid the vocals, crafted the imagery, and subsequently pushed the upload button, fully aware of which Reapers were watching and the exact magnitude of the earthquake it would cause. You are witnessing either the most fearless hip-hop maneuver of the calendar year or the most suicidal play imaginable, potentially a mix of the two. Kinfolk, my tenure running this platform is extensive, navigating endless digital instigations, venomous records, and cyber wars, but heavy hitters rarely step out on this specific ledge. Hijacking a fictional hero tied to a deceased enemy from an opposing faction, structuring a full audio assault around it, actively broadcasting coordinates, all while flying your government identity flag. Zero fabrication. Operating on that specific frequency requires an entirely different genetic makeup. Naturally, the concrete jungle registered the aftershocks instantly. Man, here is where the plot goes completely off the rails, no cap. Enter P Yungin. For the uninitiated, this cat rolls deep with the NBA YoungBoy inner circle, straight out the never broke again trenches. Dude casually invades Allstar's comment section. Let that marinate for a second. A certified member of that squad, a hitter with actual skin in the game, skips the back channels and steps right into the digital spotlight. What was his exact message? Your clock is punched. 4 syllables. Your clock is punched. 0 emojis. No laughing out loud, just a chilling icebox delivery. He is Ghost. That is the type of heavy energy that rattles your ribcage straight through the pixelated screen. Now, look, your run-of-the-mill rap artist, the studio gangster, spitting heavy bars but ducking actual static. That typical industry plant catches a fatal threat from the NBA camp right on their own feed and immediately scrubs that upload, ghosts the app for a minute, then reemerges playing pure amnesia. We witness this 100 times over. Talk reckless online, meet authentic street tension, and crumble like cheap paper. Allstar Junior ain't cut from that cloth though. Catch his rebuttal. He dropped this and I need you to let this stray hit home. Figure out who is stuck out of a stroll. Mob business. Figure out who lost their legs. That remains the absolute sub-zero, ruthless, flawlessly executed counterpunch this digital warfare era has witnessed in a minute. Using just a handful of syllables, barely a complete thought, Allstar weaponized the exact casualty they represent, highlighting the target's absolute vulnerability and essentially broadcasted to Yungin. Your barking is weightless, considering the last soldier from your block who pressed the issue got permanently benched. Absolute winter weather, family. Whether you pledge allegiance to Allstar or view his moves as pure suicide, purely from a street authenticity perspective, that counter-strike was violently foul. It is the exact tier of disrespect that gets immortalized in screenshots for decades. The thread caught fire. We are talking thousands of replies inside 60 minutes. The timeline lost its mind that Allstar had the audacity to aim that at Yungin on main, chest fully out. That precise detail elevates this beyond mere cyber squabbling. At this exact juncture, the peanut gallery legitimately started wondering, are those never broke again loyalists about to spin the block on Allstar? And we are not talking fairy tale hypotheticals, but that genuine, someone better check on this boy's pulse type of energy. Let me pivot to a crucial piece of the puzzle that has been floating around the algorithm, raising everyone's eyebrows. A specific piece of footage exists, and it holds massive weight. P Yungin breaking his silence on camera, upgrading from keyboard warfare to spoken declarations. A whole visual of him addressing the static head-on. Catching that visual, bro, you instantly realize the frequency is vastly heavier than some typed text. Thumbing a threat into a keypad is rapid and detached, but hitting record? Pressing record means a man intentionally sat his posture upright, stared into the lens, and actively chose to etch his facial expressions and vocal tone into public history. The stakes skyrocket there. It proves Allstar's provocation carried enough gravitational pull and street relevance to force a spoken word retaliation from the inner circle. We left the text box behind for a full broadcast. Analyzing the footage, Yungin radiates that exact grim aura you would anticipate from a loyalist witnessing an op turn his wounded comrade into an animated punchline. Zero chuckles, no brush-offs. He projects a suffocating gravity that stamps one truth. His side ain't viewing this as comedic relief. The asphalt is officially eavesdropping now, because once two factions publicly lock horns with Allstar weaponizing animations, uploading the imagery, dropping inflammatory quotes, firing back in the threads, while an NBA affiliate returns fire via text and lens. We have officially graduated from mere broadband bickering. This is an entirely different beast. We cross the border into authentic street validation. Iron sharpens iron. The Never Broke Again syndicate basically legitimized Allstar's threat level by broadcasting a vocal rebuttal. That holds immense currency. Keep your eyes peeled on that dynamic. Let us rewind the tape though, because this tension predates this current timeline. Here is the exact frame where the mosaic sharpens. This is the hidden chapter the masses completely snooze through. Big Akademiks, whether you champion the man or despise his guts, you simply cannot dispute the fact that Ak keeps his radar tuned to the concrete jungle better than these standard blog boys. Ak was ringing the alarm bells from the jump, loudly broadcasting to the culture. Do not tie your boots with Allstar. Period. Keep your distance from Allstar Junior in this particular bloodbath. Look, when the designated megaphone of the culture issues that brand of warning, you must decode the heavy implications attached to his platform. Ak does not just throw darts blindfolded to choose a corner. He holds deep industry ties. He holds classified street intel. He possesses the blueprint on which conflicts end in yellow tape versus which ones merely generate algorithm traction. So when he planted himself before his lens and commanded his massive following, we are talking millions of consumers to boycott Allstar's movement, he was basically translating. This is no level playing field. This extends past rap conflict. Severe, real-world penalties hover over this equation that casual scrollers are entirely blind to. That red alert from Ak carried massive weight. It should have been the stark reality check for the culture. Yet, Allstar doubled down and accelerated. This injects pure adrenaline into the narrative family, forcing the question, what breed of wildcard keeps applying pressure after the biggest hip-hop media giant blacklists his campaign? The answer is binary. Either you operate with suicidal ignorance to the shifting tectonic plates, or stay with me here, you hold a trump card. You possess serious leverage. You hold frontline soldiers. You maintain enough fortified armor to continuously poke the bear, because a lone wolf out of his depth never answers a fatal threat by mocking a crippled op. Energy like that ain't born from thin air. You don't hear an ounce of shake in his voice. That is pure, 10 toes down swagger, whether he actually holds the cards or is just bluffing. That is a dude who firmly believes his flank is heavily guarded. Now, what that actual muscle looks like. The block is buzzing with rumors, and the timeline is spinning its own webs. But what is absolute gospel is that Allstar Junior has not folded a single fraction of an inch since they sent out that initial heavy warning. Ain't no moonwalking out of this. Every single drop on the gram brings way more heat than the previous one. Every single clapback cuts deeper, especially that fresh joint, the animated Ben 10 visual that dropped right after the smoke was pulled. So, either Allstar Junior is the wildest wildcard breathing in hip-hop today, or he is holding onto a secret ace we cannot see. Either route, this narrative is an absolute movie. Listen, I have been scanning the comment sections, lurking in the quote tweets, studying the reaction footage, and the culture is split right down the middle in a way I ain't witnessed in a minute. Let me chop up these different factions, because every single one holds weight. Faction 1, the Allstar loyalists. And trust me, they are out here in heavy numbers. These are the heads who feel Allstar Junior is carving out legendary status with this sheer disrespect. They swear on everything that nobody steps to the NBA crew with that kind of mouth. Nobody catches a Grim Reaper warning and fires back with a bar that icy. They believe Allstar is cementing his legacy in the concrete, victory or defeat, and honestly, they got a valid point. Look, strip away the moral high ground. Strictly from a trench perspective, typing out "guess who ain't walking" is easily one of the most savage digital comebacks we have witnessed in a grip. These supporters are surfing that chaotic wave, even if the crash landing terrifies them. Then you got Faction 2, the Out of Bounds Committee. These are the critics who feel Allstar violated the street code by spinning authentic street trauma involving breathing individuals into some animated comedy reel. They feel that specific Ben 10 mockery pushed the envelope entirely off the table. To them, spitting venom on a mic is one thing, but rendering another man into a caricature is foul. They ain't exactly NBA defenders. They just see that specific flex as a violation that eclipses standard rap warfare. And frankly, you gotta respect their lens. That animated play shifts the climate entirely. That ain't just a punchline on a beat. That is a fully realized visual, a whole mascot. That is disrespect you can slap on a t-shirt and sell. That is pure weaponized content. Now entering Faction 3, the silent spectators. These are the ghosts who got zero chips on the table, but they are tracking every move because they know this friction could easily spill over into the real world. They are the ones capturing every digital footprint, hoarding the deleted chatter, lurking for the fallout, because they understand that when a heavy hitter promises to put a tag on your toe and you reply with the audacity Allstar brought, the shot clock is officially running on the opposition. Action is mandatory now. Either the NBA squad has to prove they ain't just blowing smoke, or Allstar Junior walks away looking like the king who exposed a handful of jokers. And that spectator section, that is where the vast majority actually sit. Even if they are repping the loyalists or the critics out loud in the digital square, behind closed doors, the masses are simply hovering, popcorn in hand, because this storm clearly has a whole lot of rain left to drop. Now, let me put you up on the domino effect of this whole saga catching fire. And you really need to lock in on these tectonic shifts in the culture, because they stretch miles beyond this isolated crossfire between Allstar and the NBA syndicate. First off, the rest of the industry is tuned in, which means every other MC is taking notes. Whether it is a deliberate study session or not, what Allstar Junior proved this week is that you can openly, loudly, and artistically drag a massive heavyweight clique through the mud. And if your spine does not bend under the pressure, the digital streets will crown you overnight. That dangerous formula is being swallowed whole right now. It might not manifest tomorrow, it might not erupt this year, but some starving, empty pocket, do-or-die spitter is watching this exact movie play out, downloading the entire strategy into their mental hard drive for the next battle. Allstar just drafted a master plan, and the streets love to steal a scheme. The chilling reality, though, the next kid who tries this flavor might lack Allstar's impeccable timing, or his hidden muscle. And that is exactly when a trending hashtag stops being entertainment and quickly morphs into police tape and candlelight vigils. This hip-hop ecosystem builds these dangerous prototypes on accident all the time. This is 100% the newest mold. Number 2, the NBA YoungBoy cult. Easily one of the most feral, crash-out fan bases in the genre, has officially woken up, and a mobilized NBA squad is way heavier than just thumbs downs and angry threads. These are the types who pull up in physical spaces. They swarm, they dox, they hunt, orchestrating street-level interference in ways standard listeners never would. And whether that aggressive vibration stays trapped in the digital realm or bleeds onto the concrete, the machine is turning. Allstar Junior is going to catch that tidal wave regardless. That could look like algorithms burying his streams, venues pulling the plug on his live gigs, or something with far more severe consequences. The bottom line is, when that hive mind locks onto a bullseye with authentic malice, the impact is undeniable. Right this second, Allstar Junior is wearing that red dot. Point 3, the war anthem is imminent. That snippet Allstar leaked onto the timeline ain't some cheap bait for clout. That is a loud and clear declaration of smoke, stamped with an arrival time. The master is exported. The whole visual concept is cemented. That heat is dropping. And the minute it hits the streets, an entire record orbiting that animated Ben 10 disrespect, surfing the momentum of this exact chaotic frenzy. This rivalry ascends to an entirely new stratosphere. Because at that exact juncture, we ain't just dealing with spicy gram captions and digital barking anymore. It becomes about billboard data, heavy editorial playlist spots, publishing splits, its actual currency being minted directly off the sheer disrespect. Every streaming platform is going to weaponize their algorithm to force-feed that record directly into the ears of NBA YoungBoy loyalists. It is going to haunt their autoplay queues. Force-fed to the masses, homie. That flips the whole script in a way a simple caption or quick retort just ain't built to do. Tracks are immortal, fam. Timelines get wiped, but audio is eternal in the digital trap. Plus, the real-life street and courtroom fallout is heavy. The streets are totally sleeping on this. P Yungin typing a dead man, is officially on the record. It's a locked-in screenshot, retweeted thousands of times. It breathes forever in the digital graveyard, cached, buried deep in countless camera rolls. We're living in a matrix where the feds are using bars as indictments, weaponizing social posts. That digital threat instantly becomes state's evidence. The second beef hits the pavement. God forbid Allstar Junior catches any heat, and I'm saying if, cause we ain't putting out no Grim Reaper energy over here. Solid folks know our vibe. But should tragedy strike, Pete Youngin's footprint instantly becomes Exhibit A when the gavel drops. The whole block sees it. Even Pete Youngin's lawyers are sweating bullets. That cold truth puts the NBA squad in a tight spot regarding their next play. They already flashed their cards for the world to see. Every future play is under a microscope, time-stamped. That doesn't mean Allstar is rocking a bulletproof vest, but it forces the ops to play chess, jacking up the price if they decide to slide. 5. The domino effect that's flying under the radar is how the media vultures and blog spots are firmly latched on. We're dissecting it. Akademiks broke it down. The entire digital block is feasting. Once the content machine swallows a street feud of this magnitude, it mutates into a beast that the original players can't even cage. Allstar can't unpost that animation. Pete can't erase that Grim Reaper threat. The gears are grinding, and this monster only eats chaos. Each fresh drop booms 10 times heavier through the speakers than it would have just 7 days back, meaning whatever trickles down from here, blessing or a curse, is going to slap the culture right in the face at max decibels. No turning down the dial, no backroom treaties. This saga is a public spectacle till the final curtain. Listen close, gang. Let's pull the lens back, cause this ain't solely about Junior throwing shade at Ben 10 or Pete Young's reckless keystrokes. It ain't even about whether the NBA squad spins the block. We're talking about a massive paradigm shift simmering in hip-hop for years. Y'all gotta open your third eye. We're surviving an epoch where the web has totally hijacked the whole risk-to-reward ratio of rap warfare. 10 years back, disrespecting a fallen soldier from a savage crew meant you definitely weren't broadcasting it on the gram with your real name tagged. That energy was handled strictly in the shadows, far from the spotlight. But today, the timeline is the Coliseum. Clout chasing, metrics, and trending status serve as both Kevlar and heavy artillery. Junior dropping that Ben 10 mockery proves he's deeply tapped into the modern digital warfare playbook. A massive spotlight makes a sneak attack almost impossible. Heavy documentation turns every retaliation into an open and shut case for the feds. The algorithm never sleeps. The digital sphere is the new trenches, totally flipping the old script. And I ain't even knocking Allstar for it. I'm just diagnosing the streets. When Pete Young types a fatal threat that goes super viral in under 60 minutes, he's gambling with his freedom, weighing what to spit, what to swallow, and how to feed his rep without catching a federal case. We're watching multi-dimensional chess, folks. Junior, madman or genius, is sliding rooks across the board. Bro ain't no sacrificial lamb. He's making plays. Whether it's a genius move is the main barbershop debate. But let me drop the actual gem on y'all. That ruthless comeback about who's paralyzed. That foul retort is a window directly into Junior's psyche regarding this entire standoff. He ain't shaking over Pete Young's typing because he genuinely believes the street justice won't touch him. And there's a short list of reasons a cat moves that cocky. You're either moving with a heavy army, crashing out entirely, or banking on the viral spotlight, pricing the ops out of a physical retaliation. If he's putting his chips on option 3, using internet fame as a bulletproof vest, we're witnessing the birth of a brand new ghetto gospel. A war fought in the replies and retweets. A reality where trending worldwide is basically having 100 hitters in your corner. An era where clout translates to cash and buys a twisted brand of immunity. Not preaching morals here, just reporting live from the trenches. Akademiks peeped the play early, hence his heavy warning. He knew Junior was running a scheme the NBA crew couldn't just counter with basic street tactics. That wildcard energy cranks up the peril. The whole culture is shifting its tectonic plates, gang. Warfare is running parallel on the pavement and the bandwidth. And the rulebooks are blending, creating a toxic, high-stakes gumbo that nobody can forecast. So what's the next play? Let's keep 100. The track is coming. Junior went so deep into this character that there's zero chance of moonwalking out of it. That Ben 10 angle crossed the pit of no return. The disrespect was too loud. The algorithms are feasting too hard. When that audio finally touches down, it's mutating into a mandatory cultural earthquake, regardless of who tries to block it. P Yungin firing back, dropping that footage, and leaving that statement proves the NBA cartel ain't ducking smoke. They officially put it on wax. Now their entire street reputation hangs by a thread, mirroring the exact physical jeopardy threatening Allstar. Everybody has real blood in this pot. That right there is the pure anatomy of a genuine street war. Both factions just lock themselves into an unavoidable, brutal collision course. The true ghost in the machine is whatever dark secrets Akademiks holds, because bro flashed that red alert intentionally. Big Ak ain't just blowing smoke for cheap internet clout. When he tells the masses to distance themselves from a target, he possesses classified intel. Soon enough, that buried truth will either spill into daylight or serve as the grim autopsy report explaining why the block got spun. Are we predicting the NBA squad actually slides on Allstar, or is this merely a digital masquerade where keyboard warriors refuse to touch the actual pavement? Spill your raw theories below, because I need to gauge the trench's exact temperature. If you just tapped into the movement, hit subscribe, because when this narrative finally erupts, we will be the front line dissecting the rubble entirely raw, zero fabrication, saluting the genuinely solid individuals. We strictly push authenticity. Keep it 100, family. Catch you on the flip side.